Shit happens. And some just roll with it. But there is such a thing as too much. Agriculture has raised civilizations and has become the lifeblood of New Zealand's economy. But intensive farming has consequences. Livestock produce huge amounts of dung that foul land, water and air. But the farmer has more pressing concerns underfoot. Like, does he have enough feed for his animals?
24 hours a day farming. You go to bed thinking about it, you wake up thinking about it, and most of the time is, how am I going to make this work?
Part of the solution is already on tap. What he needs now is a little help. All 12 millimetres of it. Enter the dung beetle. Across the world, dung beetles take care of excrement from north to south. New Zealand has 15 native species, but all of them are adapted to a life on the forest floor and are pretty useless at cleaning up cow pats. So permission was given to bring in 11 foreign species, each with unique working conditions to control crap all day and all year. Eating poo is step one. And dawn is where it all begins. Time to muster some cattle.
Cattle, livestock, got to keep moving around. It's not as though you just put 100 animals in one paddock, shut the gate and don't go and see them until they're ready to go to the freezing works. It's not like that at all.
By shifting livestock across different paddocks, Alan Parker makes sure that his cattle has enough grass to graze on. Well, to the human eye, there seems plenty. But not all grazing patches are created equal. Don't eat where you shit. It's the cow's golden rule. The poop's repugnance zone is no small matter and can be 5 times the area soiled by the pat. But what's disgusting to one is a delight to another. It'll take more than a mouthful to lay waste to this muck heap. But what the dung beetles lack in size, they make up for in numbers. It's a team effort, and by day 3, all that's left is an empty shell. Not too shabby, considering earthworms take weeks to months to do the same. Overall, there's a good reason why livestock avoid their poop like the plague. Poop is a magnet for parasites. Most, if not all, the internal parasites of livestock are passed on through excrement. Livestock heavily infected can suffer from serious illnesses.
It's a parasite and we can't really control it. We can through pasture management, but it's only part of it. And the other part is drenching, unfortunately.
Drenching is the dousing of chemicals onto livestock to kill targeted worms. But this process doesn't guarantee complete annihilation. In fact, the worms may develop immunity against the chemicals. But these worms are no match against the dung beetles, which can reduce parasites on pasture by up to 90%. This is good news, especially for farmers living in wetter regions, as these parasites flourish where water is abundant. It's much less of an issue for farmers like Alan in drier areas, but they have their own troubles. For Alan, running short on cattle feed is the biggest concern, since winter grazing is what he does for a living. During the cold months when plant growth is slow, neighbouring farmers pay Alan to nurture and nourish their livestock. Besides grass, cows are fed with crops like fodder beet, swedes and lucerne. High-yield greens which demand good, rich dirt to grow. Farmers know that animal waste can be used to fertilise the land. But is it enough?
With crops, you're actually applying a lot more nutrients. To get your crops established, you've got to put your supers, sulphur, urea.
These fertilisers aren't cheap and can break down in sunlight or get washed off. At the end of the day, Alan is at the mercy of the weather gods.
The environment for farming is so changeable. Often in the centre of New Zealand, you've got lower rainfalls. When you haven't got good rainfall, you have to go to irrigation. And irrigation is another cost. Once again, it would be nice if it could just turn the rain on when you wanted it, but unfortunately we can't.
The dung beetles are no miracle workers, but they can do their best to make every raindrop count. All while restoring degraded soils and improving overall pasture productivity. Here, burying is key. It's the second and final step of manure control. Digging beneath piles of poo, these specialists drag dung down into a series of tunnels, packing them into clumps known as dung balls or dung sausages. Rich in nutrients, it's the perfect food for dung beetle babies. Not only that, earthworms, soil microbes and plant roots can also tap into these resources more easily, recycling nutrients back into the earth. As these beetles bore down in great numbers, they allow fresh air and rainwater to return to soils compacted by hooves and heavy machinery. With both microbes and excess nutrients from animal waste also getting redirected into the soils, there's less runoff to pollute waterways. Undeniably, dung beetles can do some heavy lifting in easing the farmer's burden. But there's one other matter.
The biggest misconception on farmers is how rich they are. They ain't rich. Most of them are broken. Asset rich, cash poor.
Depending on farm size, the beetles can cost between $6,000 and $10,000. Money which the farmer can potentially spend on annual farm upkeep or buying more livestock. But unlike recurring farm costs, the dung beetles are a one-off expense that is self-sustaining. All they need is a free flow of poop. Their services to farmers are worth £367 million in the UK. In New Zealand, most farmers start seeing benefits on their land in 5 years. Dung beetles help to keep the air clean, improve water quality and restore degraded lands, all while making sure the animals stay healthy and don't go hungry.
What is farming all about? Farming, I think you're born to it. I think it's in your DNA profile that somehow the husbandry of an animal is almost like a natural being for some farmers. And they want to be caretakers of the land. They want to be outside. They've got a love for animals.
A farmer's life's rough, but the dung beetles were born ready to help. because whatever shit happens, they'll just dig in and thrive.